channel, and today we're going to be talking about Sister of Season 17, Episode 8. Start off with Cody and Christine. Christine is in the garage getting stuff packed up since she's moving to Utah in a month. Mainly she has to get Cody's stuff out of the garage because he has yet to do it for whatever reason. But one of his reasons why he says he has yet to do it is because he has nowhere to put it. Because when they moved to Las Vegas, he basically had 3 households worth of stuff, but now that they've moved to Flagstaff and him and Christine are divorcing and his relationship with Mary is kind of just falling apart and she doesn't really want him over there. Of course, Janelle lives in the RV. There's only one place to put it, and that's Robin's house, but Robin's house is already filled the capacity with Cody's stuff. But he has to get it because Christine is moving, and then also she's just getting rid of a lot of stuff in general, like the bedding, and Cody feels like they should split everything 50-50. And here's the thing, that would make sense in a monogamous marriage, I feel, but it really doesn't make sense that way because if y'all were to split everything 50-50, it's going to make everything more complicated and there's no court to kind of settle it out and make it less complicated. So it's just adding unnecessary drama and holding tension within each other. And on top of that, Cody doesn't really know what he's doing, so why would he want to split everything 50-50 when it's just going to be the blind leading the blind? Like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So speaking of splitting everything 50-50, Christine's name is on the house, and that's basically her asset, which fortunately she has because in polygamous relationships, the wives don't have assets and everything is in the husband's name. It makes it harder for them to get out of situations that they don't want to be in anymore. Because unfortunately she has that luxury. It shouldn't be considered a luxury, but for a lot of people it is in terrible marriages. Or to have something to sell and to get out of a bad situation if you really need to. And the plan is regarding the money and splitting the house and all that stuff. Christine is going to keep all the profit from once the house sells, and Cody is going to get the property. It's once hers, but now it'll be theirs. But of course Cody doesn't want to do that. He still wants to do this 50-50 thing. But the thing is, though, if he were to do that, everything of his is going to be half of Christine's and the other way around. So that's Robin's house, Mary's house maybe, I don't know. Just half of whatever he didn't put in his name or whatever. So like cause you more trouble and more money to do it that way. But of course Cody just wants to keep the string on to Christine as long as he can. I think he's trying to get money out of Christine so he can pay off the property that they have and are building on it. But here's the thing about them building on the property. So many things they haven't figured out so they can build on the property, how they're going to get water out there and all those things. Like to figure out a couple of different things so Janelle could be out there, but there's still a lot of things you need for a house that you wouldn't necessarily need for an RV. Where are you going to get the money to build the house? That's the next question I have, because Mary has to get her house built, Robin has to get her house built, Cody needs his house built. What other random things are going to build on that property? They need to get that built. So where are they going to pull that from? The sky? Like, if you don't have the money to pay off the property, where are you going to find the money to build a house? That doesn't really make sense because now you have to find money to build the house and pay off whatever taxes you need to pay, all that stuff. Which I have a question. Do these people pay their taxes? I feel like they don't, because if they were, I don't think they'd be able to afford to move like every couple of years and pay this property. But who knows? But eventually Cody agreed just to let Christine keep the profit from the house and take the property. I'm happy it did because it was just going to overcomplicate things way too much. And Janelle feels like that's the best thing possible because even though Robin and Cody helped pay for Christine's house, they also did the same thing for Robin's house, and this isn't Cody's and Robin's money, it's the family's money. So since they were a family, they would help each other out. And the same amount of money Christine's house costs is the same amount of money as the property, so it's basically a fair game. I'm not sure if I said this earlier in the video, but I don't think I did, so forgive me if I've already mentioned this. I'm not gonna know how Cody feels about the situation. He feels it isn't fair. He already stated his obvious reasons for why he doesn't think it's fair, but at the end of the day, there's no reason to overcomplicate things because you don't have to have lawyers involved and you don't. So why do that trying to split everything 50-50 and means Christine would get half of what you have, Cody. So that would mean Robin's house, your car, or whatever. Y'all would have to split that up. But Christine doesn't want any of that. She simply just wants to leave you. So like, get a grip and get over it. Cody is feeling like everything is being super rushed and everything's going too fast because Christine is selling everything and moving on with her life. She's selling a bed set that they have, and he was shocked to hear that, but Christine just wants to start over and move on. Like I said, I get where Christine is coming from, just wanting to get rid of everything and start over new, because I know when I'm moving, I want to get new everything. Can I always afford it? No. But it's like I'm starting somewhere new. I don't necessarily want to bring all the old stuff and all the bad memories that happened. Since Christine is going through a divorce, and that's worse than moving. Well, moving isn't always a bad thing, but it can be if you aren't ready to move or if it was like an unplanned move. Christine's case, it's a good thing, so she just wants to start over, and I think Cody just needs to understand that, because only making it harder on himself by not trying to understand it and just trying to point the finger and blame and be all mad and throw a hissy fit. Enough of them two, let's move on to Janelle. She loves living in the RV, but she's had a rude awakening to how much trouble and work it is. Because something as simple as having enough water at her house would have not been an issue, something she would have had to even think about. But now that she's living in the RV, it's something she constantly has to think about, and they go through about 8 gallons of water in a day. And that won't even last them a whole day. And it's just not been the best experience, but she still enjoys it. But her daughter Savannah, on the other hand, not so much. So if she's unhappy like living in the RV, can't she go live with like Robin or Mary until like this gets built and like they can move into it? Or like, is that's not how like it works? Since they're like in a polygamous family, that would seem like the best decision, you know, once one child is necessarily going along with their parent, or it's just like not the ideal living situation for them, just to go and live with their mom's sister wife or their dad's wife or whatever. That just makes sense to me. I think Robin's house is like full to the max, and Mary doesn't really plan on raising any more kids, so I get it, but I don't know, that was just a thought of mine. And nothing really happened too much in this scene, just basically there's way more challenges than Janelle expected and what she thought she was going to have to deal with, and it's been tough on her. But next we're going to move on to Robin and Mary, and they're having a sit down at Mary's house outside. And they're basically sitting down to discuss the divorce between Christine and Cody and basically how they feel betrayed. Stabbed in the back because they feel like Christine is breaking the family apart. When it comes to Mary, I think she's just bitter that Christine has the courage to leave Cody and Mary doesn't, because she'd rather be comfortable than go through change. And Robin feels the exact same way, but she wonders why Cody didn't. For example, when she kicked him out of the room, why didn't he go sleep on the couch until he could figure something out or smooth things over with his wife? Short answer is Cody just doesn't care, because he'll always have somewhere to go, somewhere to run away from, somewhere to run to. There's always going to be an escape plan with Cody. Since we're speaking of Robin, why don't exactly we like Robin? Now, I could just go back and rewatch all the seasons, but since there's 17 of them, I really don't feel like doing that, so if someone could just keep it short and sweet in the comments for me. Anyways, Mary agrees and says they weren't fighting for the marriage as much as they should have. She can relate to the feeling of Cody just giving up because he gave up on their marriage. Like I said earlier, this is purely just Mary projecting onto Christine. And Robin says that Cody has been really mad at just everyone and looking out on other people since he's going through the divorce, and he has the right to be sad. I mean, it's changing his life forever, but it doesn't mean you take it out on your wives and your children just because you're unhappy and sad. They don't deserve that. They didn't do anything. I did Christine in reality, but that's a whole different conversation. Moving on, Mary is questioning if Christine was really happy in this polygamous relationship. The answer is no. I could have literally answered that for you. Christine hasn't been happy for years, but she was really trying to make it work with Cody, but Cody wasn't trying to make it work, so eventually she just gave up and moved on with her life as she should. And they somehow got the conclusion that Christine left the marriage because she didn't like the fact that there were other women involved in the marriage. And that has literally nothing to do with it. It's more so about being treated fairly, being treated as an equal, and she wasn't getting that treatment that she deserved. They also feel like she's leaving this behind after all the work that they have put in to make it work and to make it last. It's just nonsense, because no matter how much work you put in, if you're unhappy, then you shouldn't stay in it just because you put a lot of work into it. And that's what Janelle says in her confessional to defend Christine, as they're kind of pushing this perspective that Christine is the problem and Christine is the one who just didn't care anymore, when it's really Cody who didn't care anymore. I'm not understanding why it's so hard for them to see that, especially Mary, because he gave up on their marriage, so you would think she would relate to Christine and try to have some type of sympathy, or at least try to understand her perspective at bare minimum. But speaking of Mary's and Cody's marriage, Cody says that he didn't give up on their marriage and that they just grew apart over time and good as friends but not as romantic partners. I truly think that's just what happened. They grew apart over years and it just wasn't working anymore, and they're still trying to hold on to it. But Ajiva goes to talk about how she would meditate and pray that her marriage would work out with Cody. There was even a point in time when they were going to therapy to make it work. Obviously did not work, and now she's just in this marriage because she feels like maybe it will work, and she's holding on to this invisible hope, and I'm not sure why. I know I said because of comfort, but I feel like there has to be another reason. But this is exactly why I says this all circles back to Mary and why she feels betrayed, because she's unhappy and miserable and she feels like other people should have to feel that and stick it out to the end. And it shouldn't have to be that way. Ultimately, Mary just has to allow herself to be happy and stop holding on to something that's making her unhappy. One of the quickest ways to find happiness is to let yourself be happy. A lot of people won't let themselves be happy because they're holding on to stress, drama, other people's problems, and once you let all that go and just realize you can handle what you can't handle and be at peace with yourselves and others, you can truly find happiness. I'm not saying that's the case in every situation. Of course, every situation is a lot more complex than that, but I feel like in Mary's situation that would really solve all her issues that she has with Cody. And just being honest with herself. I think that's another thing. She's in denial about her and Cody's marriage. Maybe she's not even in denial. She just chooses to turn a blind eye to it. I think that would help her to move on and be happy if she would just be honest with herself and accept the things she can change and change it, and accept the things she can't change and move on. But it's a lot easier to say than it is to actually do, so I get why she wouldn't do it, but I think this would really help Mary move on and be better in life. Then Robin goes into this rant about how she wanted to give her kids the perfect family, and that's one of the reasons why she got into a plural marriage. She talked about some other stuff, but this scene was already ridiculously long about them just complaining and betrayed. So sorry if I didn't get everything Robin said, but basically she just wants her kids to have that perfect picture family. They aren't gonna have that since Christine is leaving the marriage, but they would have never had that regardless though, because I believe Robin has the youngest children other than Christine, and most of the children are grown or on their way to being grown and moving on to college and just doing bigger things in their life. Even without Christine leaving, they would have never had that experience anyways. And y'all live in separate houses and basically have your own individual little lives, so would have never played like that anyways. Like I said, I'm not sure how Christine is the root to that problem. It also goes on to talk about how if the roles were reversed, how would it be? And Cody swears up and down that like he had a brother husband, they would be playing video games, there wouldn't be any jealousy, and they would get along perfectly fine, when that's simply just not true. It would also be dealing with a jealousy. Jealousy is not necessarily a gender thing, it is a human thing. And everyone has experienced jealousy at one point or another. Well, at least I think everyone has. To say that he wouldn't experience jealousy is just simply a lie. They also talk about some other stuff in this scene, but it's kind of random, so I just got the main that they were talking about, the central topic and the purpose of it. But let's finally move on to a breath of fresh air, and I thought I would never ever say that about Cody, but here I am. Cody and Brian just got back from a little road trip because they had to get some business done because they work in business together. They ended up talking about Brian's marriage and how it's going pretty good so far for him. Nothing really happened too much other than talking about Cody's marriage and the divorce with Christine and Cody being bitter. Sorry that something else did happen in this scene and I'm completely leaving it out, but that Mary and Robin scene completely took the life out of me, so sorry about that. Yeah, all that really ends up happening and his friend saying, I hope that Cody and Christine can end on good terms and they both can be happy. since they're both his friends, which that's the most neutral thing I've heard anyone say like this whole entire season. Like Cody's side of the team, I guess you could call it, because everyone on Cody's side is like delusional and kind of just plays into whatever Cody wants to think and believe. So it was nice to see someone neutral on Cody's side. Because we watch Christine, she is selling the bed that her and Cody used to have and that literally with her through all her milestones in life. But it's time to let it go and create new memories without Cody. She didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure that's what she wanted to say. And Cody says it's kind of a lot for him because the same thing she said, there's a lot of memories for him, but it's never there too much anyway, so he shouldn't be complaining about nothing in my opinion, but whatever. Of course he's mad at Christine about that because he just doesn't see how she's moving on, but Cody is also moving on with his life. This just isn't Christine moving on. Of course, because it's Christine, she gets judged and demonized for it when she's literally just doing the same thing as Cody, moving on and creating a new normal. Back to Christine. Christine just wants to create a new life for herself and be happy. Wants to be with someone who loves her, who wants to make her happy, who cares for her as much as she cares for them. She wished she would have realized that in the early years when she was with Cody because she gave him the best years of her life. Cody says he gave her the best years of his life, but the thing is, you didn't love Christine the way she loved you. The love wasn't necessarily mutual, I don't feel. I'm not saying he didn't love Christine because that's a reach. I'm pretty sure he did, but sacrifices and the things she was willing to do for you, you would have never done for her. So that's the difference, Cody. And I hope and I do think Christine can find someone who truly loves her for her and can give them all their love and attention that she wants. So hopefully that will come true for her, and I hope that she gets like her own little spin-off, Christine dating or Christine in her new life. I would 100% watch that just because Christine is a queen. She's literally perfect in my eyes, so she deserves the world. But lastly, we're going to move on to Isabel and Christine and Truly moving Isabel to North Carolina so she can start going to college soon. Bella's super excited, but she's also really nervous just because she's basically leaving everything behind that she's ever known and starting over new, and it's the first time she'll kind of be away from her parents and on her own. She won't still be all the way on her own because she's moving in with Daddy and her husband, so she'll still have guidance, but it's also a different type of guidance, not like the guidance you would get from your parents, you know. But Christine and Truly will be there for 10 days. I'm not sure that's because like they just want to help her and make sure it's all set up and ready, or if that's because of COVID, but I think it's because of COVID. Truly's a little sad just because that's her sister and she won't get to see her as much, but they'll still get to communicate over the phone and stuff like that. Gwendolyn is also sad because that's her favorite sister and they got really close when they moved from Las Vegas. Now she's just going away, but they're both excited for her because, you know, she's starting a new chapter in her life. Cody isn't coming along because of COVID or whatever other reasons he made up, but he literally just went on a trip with Brian, so which one is it? Do you care about COVID or do you not care about COVID? Because it seems like you don't care about COVID and you're just using it as an excuse not to be there for your child and like a big milestone in their life. Go to a confessional with Christine. She talks about how she regrets that her kids never got to see the version of Cody that she met and have him as a fully attentive father. So we got to see that side, the side that she fell in love with. And I really question if there was a good side of Cody. I mean, I wasn't there, so I will never know. Cody is just such a jerk. I couldn't imagine him having a good side or side that someone would want to be with him. Like, you know how like when you first meet somebody and you date someone, you give them the best version of you, and then if you're kind of like a crazy person, the fake version of you. I kind of feel like it was that. Then once he realized that he had her locked in, it didn't matter how he treated her anymore. That's not the point, and we're just gonna go with what Christine said, since she was married to the man for nearly 20 years. So Cody did not go on the trip, but he was there for when Isabel left, and as soon as she left, she started to cry because she's unsure when she'll get to see everyone again, that she'll be caught up with college and COVID and all that stuff plays a big part too. It just kind of made her sad. Christine understands how she feels just because her life is uncertain as well because she's divorcing Cody. So what's gonna happen with her life next? But that was the end of the episode. Tell me how you liked the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe if you want, and bye.